Me, you, and everyone you know are made up of cells. Cells are intricate systems that all work together to perform different kinds of processes. Today we're going to be talking about one process, which is called endocytosis.
Endocytosis. For this video, I'm using a project I created. In the project, the marbles represent the materials the cell needs, the clay represents the cell membrane, and the hot glue represents the cytoplasm.
Sometimes the cell has to obtain a material which is either too large for it to just go straight through the membrane, or the concentration gradient doesn't support it. So to do this, the cell will need to be using an energy called ATP. This energy is needed because it powers the membrane to be able to move. So the membrane forms a depression, which starts to surround the material. Then that part that surrounds the material starts surrounding it even more, and the membrane starts closing back up to its original state. Now the membrane's fully returned back to its original form, and the part of the membrane that was surrounding the material has come off the membrane, is now a vesicle surrounding the material. The process is highly important as it allows the cell to be able to take in material when they are too big, because the cell doesn't stop needing them, or when the concentration gradient doesn't support this. How does the cell structure in a cell contribute to this process? So the cell membrane is what is the barrier of the cell. It needs to be able to let in the materials. So obviously, without the membrane moving, this would not be possible. Plus, mitochondria create ATP energy, which powers the membrane to be able to move. So that is also a cell structure that contributes to this process. How is this process essential to the cell's survival? Well, if there's a big material that just can't pass through the membrane, it's too big, it's going to have to get in the cell somehow if the cell needs it. So the cell will have to perform endocytosis. And let's say if it needs some materials like water, but that concentration gradient doesn't support it, well then it's going to have to force that material in, so it's going to have to perform endocytosis.